A good day, my beautiful listeners and beautiful watch world, and either you're in diaspora or international locals. Yeah, thank you for listening to Independent TV 7. As it is, I would say Nnamdi Kanu is a champion of truth, a champion of truth, which has been embedded here on the headline, which says Nnamdi Kanu is champion of truth. They emphasize the detrimental impact of Kanu's prolonged detention on the peace and security of the southeast region, urging President Tinubu to heed the widespread calls across Nigeria for Kanu's release. Also, following an emergency meeting at their national secretariat in Isieke, Ibeku, the youth issued a communique stating that Kanu is not a terrorist but rather a voice against long-standing injustices faced by his people. The call for Kanu's release during his time and drawing parallels between his advocacy and the struggles of other freedom fighters who have been freed after facing similar charges. Now, the communique signed by their national president Martin Dozie Nwosu and Secretary Chibuzo Kamuche highlighted Kanu's commitment to truth, equity, and justice for the Igbo tribe and the eastern part of Nigeria, akin to Mandela's legacy in South Africa. They stressed that Kanu's continued detention has caused immense suffering and instability in the eastern part and eastern region of Nigeria. The Ibeku youth also cautioned against politicizing and Kanu's plight and urged politicians not to exploit his situation for personal gain. They called upon the Apex Igbo Sociocultural Organization, Ohaneze Indigo, to guide public discourse responsibly and advise against inflammatory remarks from figures like Reno or Mokri. His real impact, our brother Nnamdi Kanu only stood for truth, equity, and justice for the Igbo tribe and the eastern part of Nigeria, just like Nelson Mandela of South Africa. Hence, his incarceration at the Department of State Services (DSS) has become unbearable to us, his kinsmen and brothers, knowing full well the catastrophe, instability, and insecurity that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's detention has brought to the eastern part of Nigeria. We implore Ohanezendigbo to advise Reno or Mokri to always censor his utterances on the issues concerning the release of our brother Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. In a separate letter dated July 1st, the Ibeku Youth Association expressed deep sorrow and weariness over Kanu's arbitrary and prolonged detention, despite court rulings ordering his release. Now, they asserted that Kanu's agitation was given by a genuine desire for equity and justice, aiming to secure fair representation for eastern and southern Nigerians within the country. Now, the letter recounted the government's mishandling of Kanu's peaceful advocacy, leading to his arrest and subsequent violence against Igbo youth in 2017. Now, they appealed to President Tinubu to show clemency and release Kanu, emphasizing that his continued detention exacerbates instability and economic hardship in the region. Despite court orders demanding Kanu's unconditional release, he remains confined at the Department of State Services (DSS) headquarters in Abuja since his extradition from Kenya in June 2021. This has sparked widespread calls for justice and governmental accountability in addressing the growing tensions and insecurity in the southeast region. And this is where it all lies. According to the headline, which is Kanu, is Nnamdi Kanu a champion of truth, just like the Mandela, comparing to Mandela. Now, they emphasize the detrimental impact of Kanu's prolonged detention on the peace and the security of the southeast region, urging President Tinubu to heed the widespread calls across Nigeria for Kanu's release. Following an emergency meeting at their national secretariat in Iseke Ibeku, the youth issued a communique stating that Kanu is not a terrorist but rather a voice against long-standing injustices faced by his people. Also, they call for Kanu's release, drawing parallel lines between his advocacy and the struggles of other freedom fighters who have been freed after facing similar charges. Now, the communique signed by their national president Martins Chidiozie Nwosu and Secretary Chibuzo Nwa Kamuche, yes, highlighted Kanu's commitment to truth, equity, and justice for the Igbo tribe and the eastern part of Nigeria. Looking to Mandela's legacy in South Africa, they also stressed that Kanu's continued detention has caused immense suffering and instability in the eastern region. The Ibeku youth also cautioned against politicizing Kanu's plight and urged politicians not to exploit his situation for personal gain. Well, this one I'm going to draw the curtain because Kanu has really standing again for the truth, comparing to Mandela. But before I pull out the curtain, let me just give you a refrain. Now they are calling upon the Apex Igbo Socio-Cultural Organization or Aneze Indigbo to guide people and also the public discourse responsibly and advised against inflammatory remarks from figures like Reno or Mockery. And I believe there is nothing Reno or Mockery has really done that will warrant him to be in the limelight or against the Kanu. Now, according to what has been figured out and the remarks which reads in part, our brother Nnamdi Kanu only stood for truth, equity and justice for the Igbo tribe and the eastern part of Nigeria, just like Nelson Mandela of South Africa. Hence, his incarceration at the Department of State Services DSS has become unbearable to us, his kinsmen and brothers, knowing fully well the catastrophe, instability and insecurity that Nnamdi Kanu's detention has brought to the eastern part of Nigeria. We implore Ohanes Ndigbo to advise Reno Mokri to always censor his utterances on the issues concerning the release of our brother Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Now, in a separate letter dated, the Ibeku Youth Association expressed deep sorrow and weariness over Kanu's arbitrary and prolonged detention despite court rulings during his release. Well, this one I'm going to draw the curtain. I'd like to share views in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Independent TV 7. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless you real good.